At the start of the story, we meet Adam, a history professor living in Toronto. His life feels dull and repetitive, and he's clearly craving something different, something exciting. One night, he decides to step out of his routine and visits a secret underground club, a place only a few people even know about. It's exclusive, mysterious, and a little unsettling. Inside, a performance is going on. As Adam watches, one of the dancers suddenly crushes a large spider under her heel. The moment is strange and disturbing, leaving him uneasy. The next day, Adam is back to his normal life, giving a lecture at college like nothing happened. But the emptiness is still there. He's tired of the same cycle, the same routine that never changes. Later, he returns to his apartment where his girlfriend is waiting. They spend the night together and fall asleep just like every other day. That's his life. Work, home, repeat. And deep down, he knows he wants out of it. That night, when Adam goes to his girlfriend, she tries to get close to him, but he pulls away. Instead, he steps out and distracts himself by watching TV. After a while, he changes his mind and goes back to her, but now she refuses him. Frustrated and hurt, she leaves. The next day, Adam goes to college like usual. One of his colleagues casually recommends a movie, insisting he should watch it. Later, Adam picks up the DVD and heads home. As he watches, something catches his attention. A small role played by an actor who looks exactly like him. He freezes. The resemblance is uncanny. It's not just similar, it's identical. Adam can't believe what he's seeing. Shaken, he eventually falls asleep, but the image sticks with him. In his dreams, that same scene keeps replaying. The next day, he watches the movie again, carefully this time. Once it's over, he starts digging for information about the actor. He finds out his name is Anthony, but there's barely any detail about him online. The only solid lead is a casting agency connected to the film. Driven by curiosity, Adam goes to the agency, but when he arrives, the place is closed. A security guard stops him, saying the office isn't open, but offers to help if he needs anything. Adam hesitates, unsure of what to say, and slowly walks away, still confused and unsettled. As Adam is about to leave, the guard suddenly stops him and hands him an envelope, saying it was meant for him. In reality, it's addressed to Anthony, but Adam takes it anyway. Back in his car, he opens the envelope. It's marked personal and confidential. Inside, he finds Anthony's name along with his home address. Instead of opening the second envelope, Adam decides to go straight to that address. When he arrives, he finds an intercom outside with different apartment numbers, including Anthony's. He presses the button and waits. A woman answers it's Anthony's wife, Helen. The moment she hears Adam's voice, she assumes it's her husband calling and casually tells him to stop joking and come home. That's enough to shake Adam. He hangs up and quickly leaves, heading back to his own apartment. Still disturbed, he calls the same number again later. This time, Anthony himself answers. The moment Adam hears his voice, it feels surreal, like he's listening to his own voice on the other end. For a second, he can't even speak. Anthony, annoyed by the silence, snaps and warns him not to call again or he'll report it to the police. Finally, Adam manages to say that he doesn't know how to explain it, but they look exactly alike and he just wants to meet once. Anthony isn't interested. He starts yelling again, but suddenly his wife walks in. Without another word, he cuts the call. When she asks who he was talking to, Anthony brushes it off, lying that it was just a friend. Helen knows he's lying. No one talks to a friend like that. She starts to suspect he's been secretly talking to another woman, the same one he's always kept hidden from her. That night, Anthony becomes curious and looks Adam up online. He learns that Adam is a history professor. He writes down Adam's address on a piece of paper and keeps it. His wife notices everything. Later, when Anthony falls asleep, she quietly takes the paper for herself. The next day, she goes to that address. It leads her to Adam's college. At the same time, Adam's in the middle of teaching when he gets a call from Anthony. This time, Anthony says he wants to meet and will share a location soon. Adam feels a sudden sense of excitement. Finally, he might get answers. He steps outside and sits on a bench, waiting. That's when Helen approaches and sits next to him. She studies his face, clearly confused. To her, he looks exactly like Anthony, but somehow different. Assuming he is her husband, she casually brings up her pregnancy. It's obvious she's expecting. Adam is caught off guard, unsure how to respond. He says very little, then quietly excuses himself and heads back to his class, more unsettled than ever. Helen is completely confused. She calls him, and when he answers, she's shocked to hear his voice calm, normal, like nothing's wrong. He tells her he's been home the whole time. She rushes back, and sure enough, he's there. Now she's even more unsettled. Anthony, meanwhile, casually complains that he can't find his blueberries, something he always eats after drinking. It's a small moment, but it says everything. He's self-absorbed, barely paying attention to the fact that his wife is pregnant. That same night, Adam has a disturbing dream. He sees women whose faces slowly turn into spiders. The image is surreal and terrifying, and it sticks with him. The next morning, Anthony calls Adam and asks to meet at a hotel. For the first time, they come face to face. It's not just their appearance, their voices are identical too. Adam, uneasy, asks if Anthony has a mark on his stomach. Anthony says yes and shows it. Adam checks and he has the exact same mark. That's the breaking point. Panicked, Adam drops the envelope on the table, the one meant for Anthony, and quickly walks out. Anthony follows him on his bike, trying to keep up, but Adam manages to get away. After that, Anthony becomes obsessed. He starts following Adam, watching his daily routine, learning everything about his life. One day, he sees Adam's girlfriend Mary, and something shifts. He becomes fixated on her, drawn in. From that moment on, he starts watching her too. On the other side, Adam decides to visit his mother. He asks her a strange question if he ever had a twin brother. She immediately denies it, saying she would have told him if that were true. Adam then opens up and tells her everything about Anthony. Meanwhile, Anthony has become completely obsessed obsessed with Mary. He wants her, and he's willing to cross any line to get close. He starts studying Adam closely, his behavior, his routine, until he can imitate him perfectly. Then he sets his plan in motion. He calls Adam and makes a disturbing claim that Adam has already crossed a line with his wife, and now he's going to do the same with Mary. He frames it like a twisted trade, promising that once it's done, he'll disappear from Adam's life for good. Adam refuses at first, but Anthony pressures him until he gives in. Anthony takes Adam's clothes and car keys, making sure he can pass as him without raising suspicion. Adam is left behind, filled with guilt and dread, knowing exactly what's about to happen. But instead of sitting back, Adam makes a choice of his own. Determined to confront Anthony in his own way, he goes to Anthony's apartment building. The security manager mistakes him for Anthony and casually brings up going back to that same exclusive club, the one with the cabaret performance. Adam realizes just how deeply their lives have started to overlap and how far things have already gone. This is when it becomes clear the man at the club in the beginning wasn't Adam, it was Anthony, and the security manager was with him that night. Back in the present, Adam doesn't respond to the manager and heads straight to Anthony's apartment. He puts on Anthony's clothes and waits. After a while, Helen comes home. Adam pretends to be Anthony and talks to her, but she immediately senses something is off. Anthony is usually cold and rude, but this version of him is calm and gentle. Doesn't feel right. At the same time, Anthony is pretending to be Adam and tries to get close to Mary. But in the middle of it, she notices a ring mark on his finger. That's when everything clicks. This isn't Adam. She pulls away, confused and angry, and asks who he really is. Anthony insists he's Adam, but she doesn't believe him anymore. Something feels completely wrong. She tells him to take her home immediately. Meanwhile, back at the apartment, Adam finds himself alone with Helen. She tries to get close to him, but he can't go through with it. He steps away and sits down, clearly overwhelmed. There's guilt in his eyes. She walks over to him. Adam quietly apologizes. Instead of pulling away, she leans closer, resting her head on his shoulder. In that moment, she just wants him to stay, to be different, to be better than the man she knows. At the same time, Anthony is in the car with Mary. She's furious now, demanding to be let out right there. The tension is rising fast and everything is starting to fall apart. That only makes Anthony angrier. He speeds up the car, pushing it faster and faster until he loses control. The car flips and both of them are killed in the crash. The next morning, we see Adam getting ready for college like nothing happened. As he puts on his coat, he finds the same envelope, the one marked confidential, that was meant for Anthony. This time he opens it. Inside, there's a key. It's the key to that same underground club. Adam looks at it and smiles. Before leaving, he tells Helen he's heading out, but she doesn't respond. When he walks into the room she entered, he sees something terrifying, a giant spider frozen in place, almost afraid of him. But Adam doesn't react. No fear, no shock. It's like he was expecting it. And that's when everything falls into place. Adam and Anthony aren't two different people. They're the same person. Two identities, split into one fractured mind. No one ever truly sees them together. Every encounter happens in isolation, feeding the illusion. In the end, it's not about two men. It's about one man losing control of who he really is. In reality, Anthony is the original person, a struggling actor. At some point, he creates another identity in his mind, Adam, someone completely opposite to him. That's why when he visits his mother and asks about having a twin, she shuts it down and tells him to stop acting like a third-rate actor and live in the real world. She's not confused. She knows exactly what's going on. She understands that he's been escaping into a fantasy, which strongly hints that she's aware of his fractured identity. Anthony hates who he is, so his mind builds Adam more stable, more controlled, someone with a structured life. Even small details reflect this split. Anthony likes blueberries, but Adam doesn't. They're designed to be opposites. When Helen goes to the college and meets Adam, she gets confused because he asks how many months pregnant she is, even though he should already know. She later tries calling her husband, but he doesn't pick up until Adam is no longer in sight. It's another clue that both identities can't exist at the same time. Anthony also hates his career. He wants to be a successful actor, but never makes it. So in his other identity, he becomes a history professor, someone respected, controlled, and able to vent his frustrations about society in a different way. By the end, when he opens the envelope and finds the key to that secret club, it all comes full circle. That club represents his darker impulses, the side of him he can't escape. The cycle isn't over, it's starting again. And in the final moment, when he walks into the room and sees his wife as a giant spider afraid of him, it's not just fear or hallucination. It's a symbol of how distorted his reality has become and how trapped he is inside his own mind. By the end, his wife already understands the truth. He's not better. He's slipping back again. The night before, it seemed like everything had ended. His other identity and the girlfriend tied to it, who was essentially part of that illusion, died in the crash. That moment symbolized him breaking free from that version of himself. For a brief time, he was calm, almost normal. His wife could feel that too. Deep down, she had always sensed something was wrong, that there was another side to him. That's why she tries to comfort him, hoping maybe this time he's finally back for good. But she's wrong. Throughout the story, spiders appear again and again. They aren't random, they represent his hidden desires, his impulses, especially his lust and lack of control. So when he opens the envelope and finds the key to that secret club, the same place tied to those urges, it becomes clear what's about to to happen. That world is calling him back. As he goes to say goodbye, he walks into the room and sees his wife as a giant spider, shrinking back in fear. This time the meaning is clear. She's not the monster he is, and she knows he's about to fall back into the same cycle, driven by the same desires he can't escape. The loop is starting again, and this time there's no stopping it.